Welcome to Augusta. Here for a local race. I just want to ask you, this is important to Augusta, but I was talking to one of the interns in the car, and we described you as a political activist, Georgia icon. What brings you here to Augusta?
Georgia needs Augusta to be as strong and as vibrant as possible, and we need the voters of Augusta to have the citizenship power they deserve. I'm here because I believe in a fair fight for Georgia and a fair count for our census, and that means coming to a place like Augusta, where we can have a conversation about district races, because those races matter as much as the race for governor or the race for president.
What makes Jordan Johnson, makes him, your guy? I talked to him last time. He was fighting for 11,000 people for Columbia County and Richmond County for the voter purge. And I mean, that's your thing, fair fight for voting.
Fair fight is focused on the issue. Fair fight is focused on the issue of voter protection and fighting voter suppression, and that means keeping people on the rolls, but also encouraging them to use the power they have. I've known Jordan Johnson for several years, and we've worked together very closely. I'm not making personal endorsements, but fair fight is. We're choosing people across the state who stand up for voter protection, who fight against voter suppression, and who believe in true voter engagement. And Jordan's a perfect example of what can be accomplished in our communities with the right leadership.
You said in there that you feel like the biggest loser. You're taking it well, but do you feel like the biggest winner that you're here talking to us and telling everybody to get out and vote?
I believe that our democracy is our power. The right to vote is how we express that power. And I am deeply honored to be in a position where my voice carries some weight, where we're able to fight the Secretary of State and get 22,000 people back on the rolls, where someone like Jordan Johnson can keep 11,000 people from having their rights stripped away. But we've got to make that fight real for all of Georgia, starting here in Augusta.
A lot of people's political understanding and political awareness is, starts nationally and kind of moves down locally. But what you're alluding to is having that conversation start locally and then maybe building a base like that. Can you talk about that?
I think so often we think about power either being about the presidency or about personal power. And what we have to recognize is that as a nation, we have divided that power among many people. And to do that division, we have to come together to make it work. I believe that local elections matter as much as national elections. I started out as a deputy city attorney long before I ran for office myself, because I understood the role of the mayor and the city council, the county commission. And as much as I'm going to fight for those, I'm going to fight on the national level, but I will never forget that the power that is closest to the people has the greatest impact.
We have 3 minutes.
What is the main thing you really want to see out of this particular election?
I want to see people show up in May the way they showed up in November of 2018. We had record turnout across the state, including here in Augusta. And if the people who turned out to vote in 2018 show up again and recognize that primaries matter, that local elections matter, they will start to see the changes they need. Jordan talked about the fact that they have infrastructure issues here in District 1. Those infrastructure issues don't get solved in Washington, and they don't get solved in Atlanta. They get solved here in Augusta, and you need leadership in Augusta that believes in solving those problems.
Is there anything else you want to add that we're going to ask you?
The other issue I spoke about is the census. The 2020 census begins on April 1st. In the state of Georgia, we stand to lose hundreds of millions of dollars every year from the communities that need it the most unless we participate. So I encourage everyone to go to faircount.org, learn about the 2020 census, and plan to participate so that you get your money, because we only get counted when you count.
We do one more question.
How do you inspire those who say voting does not matter?
There's this young man named Yellow Pain. He's a rapper that I met from Dayton, Ohio. And he begins his most recent video, talking about voting not matter. He begins his video talking about why voting doesn't matter. But a minute in, he reminds us that voting must matter because people wouldn't work so hard to stop us if it didn't. And what is so critical is that what people call voter apathy is usually voter despair and voter disillusionment. And the way you solve for despair is to provide answers, and the way you cure disillusionment is to provide real beliefs and power. And that's what I fight for. I don't let people tell me no. I let them start with no, but we'll get to yes. You just need me a little more time.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Follow Ge Holla. That's GeHolla. Also, my website is www.geholla.com. Always holler at me when you see me out. Ge Holla. Holla.